For those of you who haven't heard yet or don't know, EA will be implementing what they call the Online Pass, starting with their 2011 lineup of EA Sports titles. This means that every game will come with a one-time registration code that will allow the buyer access to all the game's online content. If that game is later played by another gamer on a different console, whether they bought it used, whether it was given to them, whatever the case may be, they will have to pay an additional $10 charge for a new registration code. Let me start off by saying I, for one, do not like the idea of being extorted and held hostage by the same companies I've supported for 20 plus years. EA wants you to think that the buying used games hurts the market enough they can justify this additional charge, but it's simply not how it is. Look, I've been doing what I do for 10 years now. Before that, I traded my Super Nintendo games at the local trading zone, and that was the early 90s. I've known of buy-sell-trade video game stores for nearly 20 years, and I have yet to hear of the detrimental damage they've done to the developers. I have yet to hear of the developer that's folded because the used game industry has taken so much money out of their pockets that they had to. In fact, during the years in which buy-sell-trade video game stores have grown, EA has also grown. In this time, they've become one of the largest third-party publishers in the world. So I have to say, it doesn't seem like the used game industry is hurting them very much at all. I think this big corporate entity is forgetting about the demographics they're hurting the most. From the little kid who can trade in his games and pay the balance with his allowance, to the poor college student, to the married couple on a budget. Used games mean a lot to those who cannot afford new ones. Meanwhile, the used game market stimulates the new game market by allowing you to trade in your old titles for your new ones. And this could potentially kill the value of your used games because they aren't going to have all the available content. It kills me that this multi-billion-dollar corporation needs your $10. They need that extra $10 from you and I. You want to know what EA made in 2009? This is from EA's website. Okay, fiscal year 2000 year. That's the year ending March 31st, 2009. GAAP, that's Generally Accepted Accounting Principles to you and I, net revenue, net, not gross, for the fiscal year was $4.212 billion. Billion, not million. That's up 15% from 2008. That's 15% from 2008. Up. They're profiting. And then some. $4.212 billion. In 2009, EA had 31 titles that sold more than 1 million copies for the fiscal year. FIFA 09, Madden 09, NFL 09, Need for Speed Undercover, over 5 million copies each for the year. EA Partners posted its strongest year ever. EA strengthened its portfolio by launching new games. Spore sold over 2 million copies. EA generated 14% of its total non-GAAP revenue from the Wii, compared to 8% from the year prior. That's a 6% increase. Pogo achieved an all-time high of 1.8 million paying subscribers for the fiscal year. EA Mobile, the world's leading publisher of games for wireless, delivered non-GAAP revenue of $189 million for the fiscal year. That's up 24% year over year. EA's non-GAAP digital services revenue, which includes online and wireless, was $429 million, up 27% year over year. And EA needs your extra $10? Looks like EA's doing pretty well and flourishing with without the help of it. Yet amazingly, in our current economic climate, this company, which is already swimming in cash, sees fit to take away your ability to find a less expensive alternative to buying games that are more expensive than ever. They didn't have a problem raising the MSRP from $50 to $60 this gen. Do you remember that? Hell, there's their $10. It's not like they aren't already making more money on these titles, and still they want more from us. You know, maybe John Riccatello, the CEO of Electronic Arts, only thinks $10 is a drop in the bucket. But how much does he make a year? I'll bet my entire store isn't worth half of his yearly salary, and I have customers who make less than $20,000 a year. To some of them, living check to check, $10 is the difference between their child eating and starving. Should they be punished for trying to save some money so they can both take care of what needs to be taken care of and enjoy life a little? Do they deserve not to be able to enjoy the online services of the games just because the new game costs more and they can't do that? Their budget won't allow for it? I think not. What do you think, John? I'll tell you what, when John Riccatello makes $8 an hour working at the food court down the hall from me, he can come in and tell me that he's going to punish gamers for wanting to save a few dollars. Till then, he's just another rich guy, an extortionist, motivated by pure selfishness, preying on the rest of us. You want to save money, John? How about you, Frank Gibbo, Peter Moore, and Rod Humble each take a salary cut before you decide to take from your loyal customer base? No? I didn't think so. As a matter of fact, I'll bet if Online Pass is a success, you'll each be looking at a big fat raise. Now let me ask the greatest question of all, the question you should all be asking EA, Ubisoft, THQ, and anyone else who joins into this Nazi-esque extortion of video games. Where exactly is my $10 going? If you're making billions of dollars and your company is growing by leaps and bounds, why do you need my $10? In a statement from EA, they say, and I quote, "It allows us to accelerate our commitment to enhance premium online services to the entire robust EA Sports online community." Will someone please show me where and how they intend to use your $10 to do that? Our online services are already provided by Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, so there's nothing that they're going to do to improve those. The games all have the online modes and the features they can add, so what more is there? The fact is, they're hitting you and I with a load of BS propaganda in a weak attempt to keep us from seeing what they're really doing and why they're doing it. Like a bad magician trying to hide the red ball, but I can still see it, and I know you can too. With or without paying this fee, you will get the same service you always have from these companies. Your gameplay experience will be exactly the same. This is a multi-billion-dollar corporation preying on both the consumer and the used video game market because they can't stand the idea of someone else making a buck. They want it all for themselves, and that means you and I have to pay. That's fine with them. And sadly, they're not just hurting the sales of big corporate buy, sell, trade stores, but potentially decimating the small business owners in the long run. And they couldn't be happier about it. They can't wait to line their pockets with your hard-earned money for a service they offer regardless, and at the same time do irreparable damage to every indie game store on the planet. Two birds with one stone, and they're loving it. And believe me, folks, this is a test market. If game sales for these titles significantly increase from previous year's titles, they will not only see it as a victory, but you can count on that success opening the floodgates for all games to include this feature. Do not let it happen. Do not buy these games. Do not support any game that features Online Pass or anything like it. And if you buy them used, do not purchase the Online Pass. I say play your old games and save yourself some money. Teach EA and any other company that tries this that we are stronger than they are. You may think that's a cocky statement, but don't forget, all of EA's success over the years was thanks to you and I, our support. And this is how they've repaid us, with extortion. Well, we made them who they are. And if we decide not to support this, then we can show them that we won't be slaves to their whims. We will not be their whipping boy, and we will not give them more than the billions of dollars we already have just so they can turn around and betray each and every one of us. And I challenge John Riccatello. I challenge anyone from EA to tell me otherwise. Forward this video to everyone you know. Post it everywhere you can. Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, wherever you can make it seen. Please, I implore you to do so. Let's get the word out. Email EA. Hit their forums. Tell them what you think. Do it now. Don't sit back and wait for someone else to do it. Take action. It'll take every single one of us. And together, we can put a dent in EA's massive ego by making a difference. And the first step is putting out the information, making the facts known, and making the right decisions based on those facts. The gaming community is hundreds of millions strong. And if we all shout, EA will without question hear what we have to say. So get to yelling. And that's really all I have to say right now. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you all choose to support what I have to say here. I hope you choose to support the gaming community over the monster corporation. I hope you're not foolish enough to think what they're doing is right. And together we can make a difference. Have a great day. Thanks.